Duskmane and Dawnwing's Necrozma are both going to be returning to Pokémon GO on December 14th from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. If you happen to miss these amazing raids over the summertime during Pokémon GO Fest, or maybe you didn't get enough energy to fuse your Necrozma, this is going to be an event that you do not want to miss. We definitely have a lot to get through in this video, so let's jump straight into it, starting off with the bonuses. So from this event, you're going to get 5 additional orange raid passes, which you must claim between the time window. You can also save one of your orange raid passes in your inventory from the day before. This way you can do a total of 8 free raids during the event. So in total, you're going to have 1 pass in your inventory, 2 you're going to get thanks to the seasonal bonus, and then 5 additional on top of that during the event window for Necrozma Raid Day. When it comes down to new players who are watching this, you guys can get more orange raid passes by spending gym stops after you've already used the one in your inventory. Now on top of that, we're also going to have a boosted shiny rate on Necrozma from these raid battles during this event. Typically for legendary Pokemon and even Ultra Beast Pokemon, it's going to be 1 out of 20 from raid battles, but during this event it's going to be 1 out of 10. And then finally, we're going to get 1.5 times experience for completing raid battles. We're also going to have the remote raid limit increase from 5 to 20 raid passes on both December 13th from 5 p.m. to 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then as well from December 14th from 12 a.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. To be fair, it's also worth mentioning that the price of these remote raid passes is not going to be discounted during this event, but this is going to be more convenient for some players who live in smaller communities and prefer to remote raid. Also, one more bonus tip for those of you guys who are planning to remote raid once this event actually goes live, I strongly recommend making sure to double check that the shiny is active. In the past, there have been many instances where Niantic has forgotten to turn on the shiny at the start of the event, leading to a lot of people wasting raid passes and Niantic not really offering that much compensation in return. There are typically confirmation posts on the Sylph Road subreddit for this kind of stuff, so I'll leave a link in the description down below. Now during Necrozma Raid Day, we're also going to have another event overlapping as well that's going to be the Young and Wise event, and specifically for the bonuses for this event, we're going to get 2 times hatch experience and 2 times raid experience. So I'm pretty sure this 2 times raid experience should take priority over the other bonus for Raid Day. I'm not really sure why they mentioned 1.5 times raid experience when we have 2 times raid experience from this event. So yeah, anyways, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to end up happening. These bonuses are going to end at 8 p.m. on December 14th, so you guys should have plenty of time to take advantage of them. Now during this event, we're going to have special 2km eggs featuring Togepi, Tyrogue, Smoochum, Bonsly, Happiny, and Munchlax. So if you're missing any of these baby Pokemon in their shiny forms, or just in their regular forms for the Pokedex entry, I would recommend stocking up on 2km eggs while you guys are going to be out raiding. Now with that being said, the shiny raids are not going to be boosted, but many of these Pokemon are not going to be featured in the regular egg pools as well, and you also can't catch baby Pokemon in the wild, so I'm not saying to go crazy on these egg hatches, but it would definitely be worth picking up some of these 2km eggs. Basically, outside of that though, that's the entire Young and Wise event in a nutshell, so yeah, I didn't really want to make a separate video going over that stuff, just something to pay attention to as you're out there raiding Necrozma. Alright, now let's talk about the event ticket for $5. So this is pretty similar to how most Raid Day event tickets work. We're going to get 8 additional orange raid passes. This means you're going to have a total of 16 raid passes to use if you actually saved one from the day before. You're also going to get 1.5 times additional experience from raid battles, and I'm not really sure if this is going to stack with the Young and Wise event, a 2 times raid experience bonus, or if it's just going to stack with the Necrozma Raid Day, 1.5 times experience bonus for a total of 3 times experience from raid battles. Really have no idea. Niantic does this stuff on purpose, I swear, to just mess with us. And then finally, the event window is going to be extended. It's going to be from 2 to 10 p.m. instead of 2 to 5 p.m. You can also gift these tickets to your friends, so if you want someone to raid with you a little bit longer during this event, this is definitely a great incentive. The value itself is decent for the ticket if you at least use 5 of the extra raid passes. Otherwise, if you were able to get a good premium box that contained like green raid passes, you might just be better off using those. The extra large rare candy chance from raid battles is honestly hit or miss with these events. Sometimes it's pretty good, sometimes it's just complete trash, so I really can't recommend it for that reason alone. If it were guaranteed per raid, that would be an entirely different story, like how we had for Mega Lucario Raid Day. That was actually really good. But unfortunately for most of these events, it's just a chance, and we can't really quantify how much that chance actually is. Now the 2 times Stardust bonus is also kind of whatever as well, but the XP bonus could be promising if it does stack with that 2 times raid experience bonus from the Young and Wise event. But at the end of the day, guys, you know, friendship experience is always going to be the best way to grind experience in this game, and you can do it completely for free. So when it comes down to it, I think most of the bonuses kind of whatever, but I do think one of the most overlooked bonuses is the extended playtime. The Necrozma fusion forms are 2 of the best Pokemon in the entire game, respectively for Ghost and Steel typings. They also have amazing relevance in the Open Master League and PvP, so if there was ever a time to actually raid hard for a Pokemon, this is definitely it. With the event ticket, having the event hours extended for an extra 5 hours is quite nice. This provides scheduling flexibility for some players while also allowing dedicated players to raid as many Necrozma as possible, obviously going for that elusive hundo. So basically when it comes down to it, is this event ticket actually worth it? And I'm gonna say yes, but also no for some players. So I think if you're gonna be out there raiding at least, over 10 raids, for sure get this event ticket. Like, it's gonna be worth it for you. But if you're gonna just struggle to get your free passes alone done, then maybe just kind of play it by ear, right? Go through and see how many raids, people in your local area are gonna be doing. If you have a good group together that's gonna be raiding a bunch, then yeah, definitely consider buying the event ticket, maybe during the event day. That's perfectly fine. I think that's a great conservative approach rather than just buying the event ticket ahead of time. This way you can kind of really just see like how much momentum there actually is in your local communities. Because for some players, they might just want to focus on remote raid passes, and you can just do that without having to really buy the event ticket. Now with that being said though, if you are planning on actually purchasing this event ticket, I would strongly recommend going through the web store to get an extra green raid pass. I mean, it's basically just a freebie. That pretty much covers all the event details and bonuses I wanted to go over. Now let's actually start talking about Cosmog, Necrozma fusions, and all that good stuff. So first of all, how can you actually get Cosmog? Well, for those of you who don't know, in order to actually get Dawnwings or Duskmane Necrozma, you will have to fuse it together with either Lunala or Solgaleo respectively. Now both of these Pokemon will initially evolve from their base stage form, Cosmog. So that begs the question, will we get a free Cosmog during this event? Well, nothing was mentioned in the blog post about this, but I would hope so. The last time we actually had a raid day where there was something this important, or at least like an important item required, it was Mega Rayquaza raid day for the Meteorite. This was advertised ahead of time though, so it does make me kind of concerned that Cosmog won't be available through some sort of timed research quest, in which case this would be quite problematic for many players, especially given it's like a Necrozma fusion raid day. On the blog post, Niantic did go into detail about the fusion forms, the adventure effects, and how they work, but nothing was mentioned about Cosmog, so I'm really just hoping that they forgot to add it in. Honestly, that wouldn't surprise me at the very least when it comes down to Niantic, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Assuming that we are able to get at least one Cosmog though, let's talk about the fusion mechanics. So first of all, I think the most important thing to mention is that when fusing Necrozma together with either Solgaleo or Lunala, the IVs are going to be determined based on Necrozma. This is very similar to how it works in the main series games as well. So overall, this is great news for anybody who didn't get good IVs on their Solgaleo or Lunala, which I'm assuming is going to be the case for most players. Now in terms of the cost, it is going to be 1000 Solar Fusion Energy to fuse Necrozma with Solgaleo to get Duskmane Necrozma, and then it's going to be 1000 Lunar Fusion Energy to fuse Necrozma with Lunala to get Dawnwings Necrozma. You're also going to need 30 Necrozma candy and 30 Cosmog candy per fusion. The next question I want to go over is, are there fusion limits? So no, there's not going to be any limit to how many Duskmane and Dawnwings Necrozma you guys can have in the game. The amount is purely based on how many Solgaleo and Lunala that you have, also the amount of fusion energy. So theoretically, you could end up building like a full team of 6 if you're able to get enough extras from trades. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is pretty unlikely to get someone's extra Cosmog though. I mean, you'd have to be offering them something really good in return. Now following that, I want to take a look at how good Duskmane Necrozma and Dawnwings Necrozma are going to be in terms of their meta relevance for both PvP and the raid/gym meta. So first of all, let's start off with Duskmane Necrozma. So once Necrozma is fused together with Solgaleo, it will become Duskmane Necrozma as I mentioned earlier, but it's also going to automatically learn the move Sunsteel Strike, which is going to be its signature move set. This move can only be used when fused together, it cannot be elite TM'd. Now in terms of the best moves that you want to have for raid battles, you want to go with Metal Claw as a fast move, and then obviously Sunsteel Strike as a charge move. This makes Duskmane Necrozma the best steel type attacker in the game, but not only that guys, it is miles above every other option in the game, including Shadow Metagross and even the anticipated Mega Metagross, which isn't currently in game right now. That being said though, when Mega Metagross does eventually make its appearance into Pokemon GO, it is still going to be good to have because of the damage boost to other steel type Pokemon in raid battles. So ideally, if you had like the best team possible, you would want to have like 5 Duskmane Necrozma and then 1 Mega Metagross. Now if you actually get the hundo for this Pokemon and you max it out to level 50, it's going to reach the CP of 4634. Now keeping that in mind, right, we know Duskmane is going to be really good for the raid/gym meta, but it's also super good for the Open Master League meta. It ranks in the top 5 right now. The optimal moveset here is going to be slightly different than what you would typically use for raid battles though. You would instead want to go with Shadow Claw plus Sunsteel Strike and then Dark Pulse as a second charge move. Keep in mind it is going to cost you 100,000 Stardust and 100 Necrozma candy to unlock that second charge move. So don't do that until you fuse them together, because I know some people might actually do that on their Solgaleo or Lunala. So obviously Duskmane Duskmane Necrozma is a super good Pokemon, right? We know it's amazing. But how about Dawnwing's Necrozma? So once Necrozma is fused together with Lunala, it's going to become Dawnwing's Necrozma and automatically learn the move Moongeist Beam. This actually makes Dawnwing's Necrozma the best Ghost-type attacker in the game, even above Mega Gengar. So just like Duskmane Necrozma, this is going to be one of the best investments you can make for your Ghost-type Raid team. And not to mention just that, like, Ghost-type Pokemon are super useful in Pokemon GO. Like, they are really good to use against a lot of raid bosses. Now, in terms of where Dawnwing's Necrozma ranks in PvP, it does rank below Duskmane Necrozma in the Open Master League. It's actually rank 15, which is still super good for that format. So, I mean, it's definitely not as good as Duskmane Necrozma. That's going to be the better one you want to go with, but it's still going to be an amazing Pokemon to have. I actually fused my Dawnwing's Necrozma first. I still haven't gotten my Duskmane Necrozma, but I can tell you firsthand, I have used Dawnwings literally everywhere. Like rocket battles, PvP, raid battles. It has been such a useful Pokemon to have, so I have no regrets. I also got it up to Best Buddy, which I almost never do for any single Pokemon, guys. I have like 5 Best Buddy Pokemon in total. So basically, long story short, Duskmane Necrozma gonna be the best Steel-type attacker in the game, super good to use in Master League, and then Dawnwing's Necrozma, the best Ghost-type attacker in the game, and also really good to use in the Open Master League. Now, for many players out there, if we do end up getting at least one Cosmog from like a timed research, you're gonna have to decide between these two. So which one is actually better? So on paper, I do think that Duskmane Necrozma is going to be better, but I do have a little bit of a bias towards Dawnwing's Necrozma. I just personally really like it, so I'm happy with my choice when I went with Dawnwings first. But at the end of the day, like, both are going to be incredibly good. I would just think about it in this way, right? Are you going to use a Ghost-type attacker more or a Steel-type attacker more? Think about it like that and then go from there, because both Pokemon are going to be good in the Open Master League. Duskmane is slightly better, but they're both in like the top 20. That's still really good for that format. Now, Duskmane and Dawnwings do also have adventure effects as well with these special movesets. So they're going to cost 3 Necrozma Candy plus 3,000 Stardust to have it active for 10 minutes at a time. So basically the effect for Sunsteel Strike is that Pokemon that can normally evolve during daytime can actually be evolved anytime while this adventure effect is active. And then for Moongeist Beam, Pokemon that could normally evolve during nighttime can be evolved anytime while this adventure effect is also active. Now, while you actually have this adventure effect active, you're also going to get special incense spawns. So the rarest spawn from both of these can be the Rock Ruff that can evolve into Dusk form like in Rock. Now, we do have some other stuff to go over regarding Necrozma. Let's start off with the 100% IV spreads. So for the regular non-weather boosted Necrozma, you want to look out for 2104. And then if it does happen to be weather boosted, you want to look out for 2630. Those are going to be the Hundo CPs. Next up, let's go over the best counters that you guys want to have to use against Dawnwings and Duskmane respectively. So ideally against Dawnwings, you want to be using Dark and Ghost type Pokemon. Some of your best counters can be Mega Tyranitar with Bite and Brutal Swing, Mega Houndoom with Snarl and Foul Play, Mega Gengar with Shadow Claw and Shadow Ball, and then of course Dawnwings itself with Shadow Claw plus Moongeist Beam. You also have options like Shadow Tyranitar, regular Tyranitar, same moveset as Mega Tyranitar. You have Shadow Chandelure with Hex and Shadow Ball, Shadow Weavile with Snarl and Foul Play, Hydreigon with Bite and Brutal Swing. Brutal Swing is going to be a Calm Day exclusive moveset. You also have Darkrai and Yveltal both with Snarl and Dark Pulse, and then finally it's more of like a budget option if you play through the Calm Day. You have Incineroar with Snarl and Darkest Lariat. If you don't have any of the Pokemon that I just mentioned, just use your best Dark and Ghost type Pokemon, that should be fine. In terms of the best Pokemon you want to use against Duskmane though, you ideally want to go with Dark, Ghost, Ground, and Fire type Pokemon, so a little bit more of a broad option here. So in terms of the best options, you have Primal Groudon with Mudshot plus Precipice Blades. Precipice Blades is going to be an exclusive moveset. You also have Mega Charizard with Fire Spin plus Blast Burn. Blast Burn is going to be a Calm Day exclusive moveset. You have Mega Tyranitar, which you can use for this raid boss as well. Dawnwings Necrozma, Shadow Tyranitar, Shadow Chandelure, although for Shadow Chandelure against Duskmane Necrozma, you want to go with Fire Spin plus Shadow Ball instead of Hex, I believe. You have Shadow Excadrill with Mudslap plus Scorching Sands, Reshiram with Fire Fang plus Fusion Flare. You can also use Overheat if you don't have Fusion Flare, because that is going to be an exclusive moveset. You have Heatran with Fire Spin plus Magma Storm, and then all the other ones really have exclusive Calm Day movesets. So if you really want to have like the best counters against both of these Pokemon, a combination of like Tyranitar and Dawnwings would be appropriate, I think. And then also Chandelure seems to hit both of these as well. Once again, if you don't have any of the Pokemon that I just mentioned, just use your best options for these typings. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comment section down below and I can let you know if it's going to be a good counter to use. Otherwise, I have plenty of guides going over this stuff in terms of which Pokemon to power up, so I would recommend checking out those videos as well. Also, one really important tip I want to recommend, if you guys are going to be playing with others consistently throughout the day, make sure to party up to get additional damage bonuses. Like, this makes a huge difference, guys. So if you're not partying up, I mean, make sure to do that. You're going to be able to take the raid boss down significantly faster. So I went over some mega options you guys have available to use as counters. I would only use those Pokemon as counters if you don't have like a lot of players in your raid lobbies. Like you want to have the extra damage bonus rather than the candy bonus. But if you have a lot of players that you're going to be raiding with, then focus on the candy bonuses. So Necrozma is going to be a psychic type Pokemon, which means you can go with Mega Alakazam, Slowbro, Gardevoir, Medicham, Latios, Latias, or Rayquaza. We did just recently have Mega Latios available in raid battles, so if you were able to get that, you guys can just use that as a Mega Level 1 option. But for anybody who's been playing this game for a long time, if you have any of these Pokemon at Mega Level 3, prioritize that one over the others for increased candy and extra large candy. The next thing I want to go over is in regards to Beast Balls during this event. So it was not stated that we're going to have Beast Balls to catch Necrozma during this event, which means if we don't, it's going to be significantly more difficult to catch this Pokemon. So in order to actually maximize your catch rate, you ideally want to be using Golden Raspberries and aiming for great and excellent throws. Personally, I found the most consistent way to do this is by using the Circle Lock method. You essentially just want to hold down the Pokeball to set the circle, then wait for the attack animation to start, and then time your throw so that it lands right as that attack animation finishes. I cannot tell you how many comments I always get about people telling me that they couldn't catch a Pokemon because it was like either too feisty or something like that, or it was just like really difficult to catch. I mean, sometimes even if you land like all Golden Raspberry excellent throws, it'll still run away. It's honestly impossible to predict how that'll end up happening, it's just RNG, but that is the best chance you have to actually catch these consistently. I almost never have Pokemon run away for the most part, so if you're at least doing that, honestly, even if you're just getting at least great throws consistently with Golden Raspberries, you do have a pretty good chance of catching these. You can practice this method on regular Pokemon if you're not familiar with it, and you should be able to get it down before this upcoming weekend. Now finally, for those of you guys out there who actually have some Silver Pineapple Berries, while Golden Raspberries do provide the best catch rate, Silver Pineapple Berries actually provide the second best catch rate along with a 2.2 times candy bonus as well. So for a legendary / Ultra Beast Pokemon like Necrozma, this is going to be a great time to use these. Combined with like consistent excellent throws, you should be able to farm a ton of candy. But if the Silver Pineapple Berries aren't really working out too well, definitely switch over to the Golden Raspberries because that is going to be your best catch rate. Anyways, with that being said, that pretty much covers everything I wanted to go over in this video. Hopefully you guys feel prepared and ready for Necrozma Raid Day. If you don't, I actually have some more videos going over Necrozma, some frequently asked questions. I'm going to leave those 2 videos on screen right now. But before you guys go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.